Yo, moin Freunde, alles gut bei euch? Willkommen zurück in der Nerd Crate 2, der Transformers-lastigen Abteilung von Tim K's Nerd Crate. Und heute habe ich einen schönen Stream für euch. Und zwar sitze ich heute zusammen mit Mike Syfritt von Half the Battle Toys. Und ich muss mich vorher schon mal entschuldigen, erstmal bei euch, das geht ein bisschen früher online. Wir hatten nämlich leichte Probleme mit den Time Zones so. Das ist alles ein bisschen merkwürdig gelaufen. Mike sitzt nämlich die ganze Ecke weiter drüben an der Pazifikküste. Und deswegen mit unserer Geschichte jetzt gerade erst umgestellt und seiner Geschichte dachte ich, das wären 10 Stunden. Es waren aber tatsächlich 9. Deswegen starten wir das Ganze jetzt schon. Ich hoffe, ihr habt jedenfalls Bock. Ich hoffe, ihr kommt dazu. Und ansonsten würde ich sagen, machen wir das ganz fix, aber dann ganz entspannt mit ganz viel Spaß noch, mit ganz viel coolen Infos zu 3D-Print und Upgrade-Kits und Transformers und was vielleicht noch so alles auf Lager hat. Aber ihr wisst schon, wie das Ganze hier läuft. Ohne Intro läuft hier nichts. Bevor wir loslegen und wenn ihr hier neu seid, vergesst bitte nicht Abo zu klicken und auch die kleine Glocke zu drücken. Auf die Art und Weise vergesst ihr auf keinen Fall, wenn ich was Neues bringe. Und wenn ihr Toy News wollt, folgt mir auch auf Instagram und auf Facebook. There we go. A little late or a little early in my space. Mike, again, sincere apologies. I hope you are well. I hope this finds you well. How are you, dude?
I am great.
Yeah? How was your Sunday, man? I mean, it's early for you. It's now around 12 for you, right?
Right. Yeah. So for me, this is about my start of my day because I am usually up until 3 in the morning on a regular basis. So I usually start rolling out of bed around 11 o'clock, and then I'm like, oh, it's breakfast time. No, it's lunchtime.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same for me. Ever since I went unemployed, and then also with the transfer company that I actually had, I was a lot at home with my YouTube and all that. So a lot of days actually end 3 a.m., 4 a.m. and just start exactly like you say around noon when other people say, okay, yeah, I got the second appointment down, then can go do groceries or whatever. And I'm just, oh, okay, coffee, pretty much the same. Dude, congratulations on your third-party panel, or your portion of the third-party panel.
Yeah, my portion. It wasn't my third-party panel. It was just just a little bit of me in there.
Yeah, but I mean, people were pretty stoked. You know, you were there with several of your products. You had your Nano Bots with you. I believe you also sold a few of your Unicron upgrade kits and also of your Ark kits, right?
Yeah, correct.
And you also had a new concept going on. His Soundwave was already known, but you brought with you a prototype of. Was it actually G.I. Joe Hound, or was it something of your own design?
So without using those terms,
gotcha.
It is a transforming reminiscence of a G.I. Joe vehicle.
Okay.
So, but yes, essentially the vehicle has a resemblance of Vamp.
Okay.
From the Joe line, which is the main Jeep that they use, and then yes, it'll be a reminiscence of Hound, as far as like the Generation 1 style look.
Very cool, very cool. Is that something that you always wanted to do, like to get a little bit in on the origin stuff, or is this collector podcast? And I want to talk to you about that too. But is that something that you, I don't know, were in there from the get-go of your childhood, maybe your teens or whatever, where you said, you know, getting all toys and going through toy aisles, that's all good and fair, but doing my own, saying, I have these ideas in my head, I'm going to get myself fluid with some programs, and then I'm going to do that stuff in my own terms. And if I do mistakes, that's on me. But if I improve them and they're going to go better, that is on me. And at the end, I'm just going to be as close to 100% satisfied as I can be.
So yeah, for me, like, I mean, I've been a collector for many, many years. And even back in so like, when was it? I want to say like probably the RID era of Transformers. I started, you know, as I'm buying the figures, I've always had this like, okay, I know that this can be changed. There's a little area here that needs to be fixed to make these wings look better or whatever. And so these were always things that happened in the back of my mind, but I was an adult at the time. I was actually going to school for computer animation and 3D modeling. And so I actually started that at that point. So this was 2000, and I actually started modeling out the base blockage for the Cybertronian mode of Bumblebee from War Within, because it was back when War Within had just come out. So I was like very interested in that line and that series, and I'm like, okay, I started modeling out that Bumblebee and how it would transform, and it just kind of it didn't finish. It took a back burner for life, and then I've been kind of getting back into it as I design stuff for cosplay and props and things like that, and I've gotten more allocated to 3D modeling. That I'm just like, okay, this is really what I want to do, and I need to just do it. And so the pandemic kind of kickstarted all of that into full force. Like I had these ideas before pandemic. You know, obviously the Hiss wave has been around now, like been floating through the internet for 3 years now, I think. I want to say 3 years. And that's about the time that I started Half the Battle Toys was 3 years ago, because of that was my original intent. It's like, you know, I had an artist friend of mine, Fabian, you can look him up. And I said, hey, I want to do something a little bit different. Can you do some artwork for me? And he's like, sure. So he sends me that Soundwave version of the Hiss tank. And I'm like, this is it. This is what I got to do.
Cool.
So, and it's been full blown since then. As a designer, I have a million things that I'm doing all at the same time. So lately, I've been outsourcing a lot of my design work. And so the Vamp figure was designed by Jeremy. Give you his name so that you guys can check him out.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, just doing some name dropping here.
If you can also put that in the stream chat, maybe, like if you pull that up to the side, maybe.
Okay.
You can type that, and so people can look that up afterwards, also after the stream. Maybe if that's more convenient.
Yeah, I'll put links to each of these guys. In fact, I'll open up my Facebook while we're doing this so that I can also share some Facebook names and links.
Good idea.
And then also Etsy for some other stuff, my page as well.
Good call. I got your links also in the description. First thing, we got our first actual viewer. My boy Central Way reviews this in the chat. He said, "When you are done with Joe, do Mask meets Transformers."
Oh yes, definitely something that would be right up my alley. All right.
Yeah, I believe that would be amazing. I mean, we looked at all these concepts they were doing with so to call masker pieces, you know, with these crossovers, and I believe that would be amazing. Okay, you just dropping the names for me in the private chat. I'm gonna put that in the comments.
I can put this into there's comments. Okay, I can't respond to those.
I don't know if you can respond it through StreamYard from here, as I've of course the administrator portion of it, but you could have typed it in through the actual chat on the stream on YouTube. But I can
see the chat. So but I'll just drop stuff into the private chat and then you can share it from there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So if you wanna look up these names, I'm gonna pop them just randomly in the chat, and you guys can check them out for yourselves.
So let me get you the other one. Fabian Gonzalez. He is my artist for all of my concepts and part of my team.
Cool. So you're not doing this. You're not doing this alone. This is Half the Battle Toys has a team behind it.
Not anymore. Yeah, it was just me, but because of all of the stuff that I do, I mean, this whole thing kind of started with Mega Constructs, making my own custom micro figures for Mega Constructs that were compatible with the Mega Constructs little mini line of figures.
Cool.
And the idea, I mean, I've had this kind of idea process since the start. I was like, okay, I want to do G.I. Joe crossover, and I want to do it in a masterpiece size with micro-sized G.I. Joe figures that fit into the vehicles when they're transformed. So that's been my goal from the get-go. So so I started working on the Mega Constructs figures as a point of reference for size. So those guys are 2 inches, roughly 50 millimeters for your European guys out there.
I know inches, 2.54 centimeters.
I mean, I do everything in millimeters anyway when I design, just because it's easier workflow across the board, and even in my own 3D printing world, the 3D printing world doesn't even like inches, so whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, so I designed them based on that. I'm gonna grab this little guy. So this is one of the first kind of initial designs. This is Snake Eyes.
I'm gonna put you in on a spotlight so people can see it better. Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's Snake Eyes. This was actually designed in a resin cast from another company that is no longer really doing anything. So irrelevant, but it kickstarted where I wanted to go with this whole line. So I'm starting to design the rest of the Joe figures, and my plan is that there will be 2 figures with every vehicle that you buy. No, he's got pants. They're just black. So anyway, yeah, and it was painted. It was a white casting, so it's not the best. I now have the ability with 3D printing that I can make my own colors.
Yeah. I mean, there are always possibilities. You know, we have someone over here in our Transformers group that actually is doing huge Transformers, non-transforming, but he has an Optimus Prime that's like this.
So, oh yeah, I've seen that on the 3D printing forum for Transformers.
Oh, he's there on. Okay, cool. Yeah, he calls himself Rick's 3D, and he's also showing 3D printing tutorials and whatnot. So he's very good with that. I had that on my channel. That was a lot of fun. He said, yeah, the tolerances are very wonky. I'm working on that, but that's where I'm like, okay, but you gotta have compromises, you know, because you're doing this all on your own. You need to print this. You need to fine tune the printer in order to print this properly, to get the surface quality done right, and then also to have the fit together, and then having the tolerances for the ball joints to actually work also need to be worked in. There's a lot of stuff involved. It's just not, okay, I'm going to print this and I'm going to put it together and then it's going to be fine.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. And on my end of it, I've taken it to a whole nother level because I'm doing everything through resin printing.
Yeah.
And resin printing is a whole different world from FDM, you know, standard PLA type printing.
Okay.
I have spent the last almost 2 years working with a company here in the States, developing a resin that works for friction-based ball and socket joints, and that's what I'm using for my micro transformers.
Okay, cool. I mean, yeah, I believe it's all the same, but we call it resin, and I believe the other is filament. With
filament,
more, yeah, and that's,
FDM is fused deposition modeling is what FDM stands for.
Ah, okay.
And that is what all filament printers are. They're FDM printers.
Okay,
and then
good.
resin printers are SLA printers, or MSLA for the new stuff that we have now.
Okay, cool.
SLA is stereolithography, and the M is masked stereolithography.
Okay, what does the mask mean in that?
So the new printers like the Saturn and all of these things that you guys can pretty much get regularly anywhere,
Okay.
they use an LCD screen at the bottom that puts a silhouetted shape for each layer. So it's a mask. That's what the mask part is. And so it shoots light from underneath, LED array of UV light to cure the resin from underneath. Ah,
interesting. Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah. I haven't done anything 3D printing. Like I'm a little bit more crude. Like I did this knee plate for my combiner was Devastator. I made this all on my own from styrene.
Oh wow, okay.
This is essentially the X2 toys design, and I just copied it. Like the little grill in between is just really a little bit of yard rail from a 1/87 train model.
Yeah. Okay.
So it just clips over. The other thing also, because I hate that there's no real space for Drift to be able to have the portions of his insignia actually in place. I did this little place. These just plug into the front part here.
Oh,
so
okay.
Those are just I just did
like
by
3mm peg right there.
It's more of a rectangular peg. Like I believe maybe in 10.
Is this the third-party Drift?
Yeah, that's the Mastermind Creation straight. That's right. And the pack is maybe 1/8 of an inch by 1/5 of an inch, maybe. Yeah. That's not much. So, and it's just some EVA foam plate with some railing around it. So 3D printing is super cool. But I don't have the space for it, nor the actual, I don't know, capacity to actually use it all the time. So this more stuff I just do by hand. But I love what is absolutely possible to have been done now. Like all the 3D printers with transformers that are doing the Power Master Comic Prime that Bobby Skullface had off his channel, or what was otherwise the IDW Topspin, I believe he also had. There are so many cool things. It's just so open. Like the Transformers community just opens up, because if those are happening and possible now, you can do whatever. Like what you've been doing with Unicron. You can now convert one Haslab Unicron and one ugly shell to a fully fledged Unicron toy with wings and a full planet for the price of one. And that's what my buddy also said in the chat. You know, like if maybe there's a market for that over here to convert it. Us as the collector's bay would sure love to have half the battle toys on our sell list. But this is also a collector podcast. So as a little 101, dude, you are a collector. Did you get anything new? Do you have some sweet haul for this week?
Yeah, if I could take you with me to my other room right behind me, this dark space back here. I have a couple hundred Transformers in that room.
Oh damn.
So I have, the top, you can see up there.
Oh yeah.
So these are all Legends figures, and I have the entire G1 line, G1 from first season all the way up through season 3.
Nice.
In the other room.
Oh.
And they're all set up with the Titan class figures. So I have all the Titans in there as well.
Yeah, that works best. So, but a very important camp question: Are you team New Age, or are you team Magic Square?
You know, I'll be honest with you. I have both.
Yeah.
I even have some Iron Factory stuff, because
me too.
Like Iron Factory has an awesome, unique look, and I love it. It's not for me. It's not my collection, but because they have a very Generation 1 element to some of their designs, I buy them because they come out first. They always come out first.
That's right.
So like a good example is none of the other companies have done Jetfire yet.
True.
So right now, Iron Factory is my Jetfire.
Yeah.
And because of the way they set it up, where you can put the armor pieces on, you can make it very Iron Factory aesthetics, or you could take all that armor off and give it a G1 aesthetics, or you can put certain parts on and give it a toy aesthetics. Like, they really did think of that when they made that figure, so I really appreciate that. And so I keep that one for that reason. And then I have some of the other ones, like Mirage. I had that one all the way up until I lost it. I boxed it up for a friend, and I was taking it to TFCon, and it disappeared. I have no idea where it is, but
just
whatever.
Poof, gone.
But also their Hound. So I have their Hound, and now that both Magic Square and New Age have announced their Hound, I sold Hound. I got Mirage from New Age, sold Mirage, and that's kind of how it does. They just kind of replace as things get better. I have both the Devastators from New Age and from Magic Square because they both had elements that I liked.
Yeah.
The Magic Square one is just, they're good, chunky, bulky, large figures for the individual bots.
That's true.
But for a cartoon aesthetic, as a combiner, New Age blows it away.
Yeah, and also the stability, and the overall combination. Like, I had both, you know, as a loan. I was fortunate enough, and I had a comparison video, and I put both transformations side by side. I had to speed up the Magic Square ×8 to match the transformation of the New Age toys, which was only ×2 or ×4, so the double to be able to have them both synced.
Yeah, because they're super complicated. I still haven't transformed them into like I took them all out, I put them up on my shelf, and I've just been too busy to even mess with them at this point.
Yeah.
And then I literally just got this in yesterday.
Oh, nice.
So this is the last piece to these guys, and I have.
I heard it's very good. I heard it's very, very good.
So you can see two of the other ones there with fans toys.
Oh.
So yeah.
That's the Omega Supreme is the DX9, right?
DX9, yeah.
Yeah, just around knee bits. You see those, and you just know. If I would have to get an Omega Supreme, it would be DX9 also, because I love the little piston thingy they do inside the leg. It's not as hollow. You don't have just some kind of brick missing inside the knee if you pose it on the fan side.
Yeah, it's a much sturdier figure. I got this one for free with a story. There's a story behind that.
Give me the cheese.
So somebody on one of the groups was selling one. So I bought it from him. It was like, he was selling it for like $180, with shipping and everything, which is fine. That I was happy to pay that, but he half-assed put it in a box with a little bit of bubble wrap around it, and then shipped this giant thing to me. So of course, that's not gonna fly. He also didn't get any insurance on it or anything to cover damages.
Oh.
So it was an unfortunate situation for him, and I appreciate all of what he did to help make everything right. So essentially, he just gave me the money back for the figure because it had a broken leg. Right off the bat, like the socket between the crotch and the leg was completely snapped. But because I'm a designer, I have the ability to fix things. So I actually took the whole thing apart. I took that part from the other side because they're exact copies. They're the same in both directions.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so I took that mushroom peg and joint and everything apart and molded it and casted it, and then put it back together.
Super cool. My buddy Mark from our podcast also did something similar. His Planet X Genesis, his Omega Supreme, funnily enough, had a problem with one elbow. The ratchet was done also. He just 3D printed a new ratchet joints, and it's sturdy. It just holds. It's again tack tack tack. Nice new ratchet sound. It's very fortunate if you can do it like that. Like breakage is not really a problem anymore. Of course, you're first. Oh no. Okay, to work.
Yeah, this guy fell off the shelf and busted one of the ball sockets on the legs.
That's a new age, right?
Yeah, this is new age. There we go. So cool. Yeah, so this pelvis piece busted, and so I just redesigned it and printed my own.
Cool. That looks good from what I can tell here. Nice.
Yeah, it's sturdy, transforms, the whole works.
Cool. How about the surface quality, Mike?
What do you mean?
Well, it's some 3D printings are a little rugged in the surface quality, and I've seen some designs right now, like not from you, just in general, where the surface quality is starting to become really smooth, like almost indistinguishable from something factory made.
This is the Bumblebee from my micro line.
Jesus Christ.
And you can see his, like, I can't get close enough to the camera to get the details that are in this.
That is, he's less than an inch, right?
He's 11 millimeters tall.
Holy.
And he has close to 20 points of articulation.
God damn. That is crazy. And it's not the tolerances are also not loose, right? Like he holds the poses.
Yeah, they're pretty tight. Yeah, here's this is a prototype of Optimus Prime here.
Ooh, prototype. I like that.
I mean, I had it available in colors, but yeah, so this was the first prototype of it. So he's got a waist swivel. He's got forward and back movement, full range of motion on the knee. He's got a ball joint for the foot as well.
That is crazy. That's so small.
So these have over 30 points of articulation.
30?
Yeah, for the larger figures.
Holy hell.
And then you can see, wish I could get more detailed. How does this work? Does that work?
Yeah, yeah, better. Yeah. Little bit.
Yeah, can't get it. Can't get the detail. Need a better camera.
I mean, if I may review stuff from you, then I could show the detail. Maybe if we get to that, I would love to check them out. They're
yeah. Amazing. I'll send you a couple of the prototypes.
Nice. Cool.
You can pay for shipping.
Deal. No deal. I want to have them. Deal. I'm going to do that. No problem. That's amazing. And you're a busy mind, right? So I believe you are probably also thinking about already how you can get these little guys to transform, I presume?
No, these were never designed for transformation.
Okay.
To be honest with you, my goal for these was to get them in scale with the Ark, which I did.
Yeah.
So when you post them up, I don't know if you have any of those pictures, but when you post them up, when they're standing next to the on-ramp of the back of the Ark, they are to scale as they would walk up into the Ark, or close to as scale as I can get. They probably could be about half that size that they are now to be a little bit better scale, but I've already broken the record for Bumblebee.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I can get them any smaller with it and still be able to work.
I actually got the picture that you sent me where people can actually see it. They also then see your upgrade kit, the 5th turbine for the Ark, actually, which I also said on our show already. What I like is that you also match the color in there with the metallic blue, so it matches with the other turbines. And,
yeah.
That is, it just looks so cool. And imagine how small that masterpiece figure of Spike there is already, and these guys are. It seems like Optimus Prime is like 3 to 4 heads smaller than that Spike. It's
yeah, he's about half the size.
Crazy.
Yeah,
that is so crazy, and I think that even scales better than these mini figures it actually comes with, because you can't do anything with them. But on this, if you are able to open up the arc, like the actual bridge portion, you can have a little bit of a diorama in there already, put these guys in, and have really some lively environment.
Sure. Yeah, I think they might be a little too big for that, but you know, because there's some weird mass shifting thing going on between from the time that they enter into that bridge right there to where they actually get to the cockpit of the thing, they somehow shrink.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the front of the ship and where the windows are, and the base, like mainframe actually has the cockpit.
Yeah.
Like the full system inside of it on the backside of mainframe.
That's right.
And so that is in line with those little tiny micro figures that they include. So somehow from the time that they get from this to there, they've mass shifted already. You know, it's just, that's Transformers for you.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I mean, if we talk mass shifting and general size on combiners, I mean, we all know the Bruticus picture where his shadow just hangs off his right arm. It's just stuff. It just can't really happen and really actually be in scale. Well, I see
a question in there. Yes, okay. So that is my plan, actually, is to do all of the masterpiece sized human figures along with the G.I. Joe stuff too. It's just a matter of time.
That is super cool. That is super cool. I just had to get away the frame because it just went into the picture. Did you also try, or are you already, I don't know, currently kind of scheduling to have also Ravage and Laserbeak and Rumble or Frenzy actually be articulated, or is that just too small for ball joints? Probably, right?
We might be able to get a little bit of articulation out of Ravage, but the rest of them, no, it's just too small.
Yeah.
Yeah, because to put a ball joint in, like the ball joint for Bumblebee and Cliffjumper are all like, I want to say they're under 2 millimeters.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Under 0.2 millimeters.
I had my fingers roughly like this, so really like 2 millimeters. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I think they're actually 1.5 millimeter ball sockets.
God damn, that is so small.
Yeah, and just it was a lot of work just to try to get to be able to print that small and still have it work. And a lot of that is due to our custom resins that we're using to give it the strength that it needs for that size. And then I also, I have 7 printers in that back room over there, and they're all dialed into
7.
Yeah, 7 resin printers. Yeah, I mean, production. You got, I got to keep up.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely right. Crazy. I mean, it looks cool. Like I have been aching to actually also go back to a convention, and I probably would have drooled over your booth, over these small things, and check them out and just fiddle with it. Like when I was there at 2018, and I was actually standing at the Flame Toys booth, and I was able to just check out their Tarn and all the articulation, and I talked to them. It's just a way different thing. I mean, it's always cool. The internet opens stuff really up. You can check it all out, and
you definitely really don't get the element of the size of these things until you see them in person.
Exactly.
Like I went over to my friend's house yesterday to print some very large props, and I brought a couple of these over to him, and he's already seen them online, and he's like, "Oh, these are so cool!" And then when he gets it in hand, he's like, "This is half the size that I expected it to be in hand," and he already knew that they were small.
Yeah, I mean, they probably the biggest is probably to the knee of a New Age Toys figure, right? Roughly.
Let's see.
I mean, so people can have some. Yeah.
New Age minifigure.
Yeah.
And my prime.
Yeah, that's what I thought, roughly. Yeah.
So if you have like grab that guy. So this is Magic Square.
Yeah.
So and then here's Prime next to him.
Yeah, that fits what I thought of him. Yeah. Goddamn. So small. Since you said you have been working with companies to mix your own resin, what was that process like? How long did it take you? What were the processes like? Because I don't have any idea. I find this super interesting, but I don't have one bit of an idea, like not one iota, how this is actually going to go about. And I believe there was also
a lot of it
trial
and error.
Yeah, right.
So a longtime cosplay friend of mine, his dad is a chemical engineer and started their own resin company based on his skills. So I have a small understanding of the chemicals that go into the makeup of resin for UV curing and processes and things like that. Having that small understanding helps me understand, like, okay, if I get this resin from this company and this resin from this company, are they compatible? Maybe. And if they are, let's just put them together and see what happens. So I do a lot of testing, like I'll mix a small batch of these two pieces together and see what I get out of it. So it's been a lot of that, but using that information has helped this company move forward with some of their resins. They started the resin company mainly to do minifigures. So, like, you know, most resins for minifigures are very brittle. You know, it's a statue, so you print it, you set it on a table, it's done. You don't have to move it, you don't have to do anything. You know, sometimes they get to the point that if you look at them wrong, they fall apart. So as a toy designer, I'm like, okay, we need to change this for you, for the company, for doing minifigures. I'm like, well, what if somebody drops that minifigure? Okay, there it breaks, you know, okay. So let's develop something that makes it durable enough that if it falls off a table, it won't break.
Durable, but it also needs to be a little bit flexible, right? A little bit.
Yeah. And that's where it comes in, having the flexibility to it.
Yeah.
So using that, you know, there's other companies, Soraya Tech. If any of you guys out there are on here on doing 3D printing of your own, then you understand some of these terms that I'm using. So Soraya Tech is a company. They've been around a while. And they make a lot of great resins, and that's kind of where it started. They have one called Tenacious, which is a flexible resin. And then they have another one that's called Blue, BLU, that is supposedly a durable resin or a prototyping resin. It's still a little bit brittle. But if you mix the two together, you get what you need. You get that little bit of flexibility with a little bit of durability.
Gotcha.
So that's the tough part, is trying to come up with a resin that fits this bill without having to mix all of these other resins together. And that's what I'm doing with this company here in the States. Gotcha. So now they're taking what I've learned from mixing resins and breaking that down into a chemical aspect where, okay, this is the chemicals that make up what we need from this resin that you just mixed all of these, you know, mad scientists together. So now we know the chemical makeup, and now we can actually make a resin that's based off of that. Interesting. So that's where we are. And where I come in is, you know, I'm helping with them with R&D, but then I also have perfected mixing my own colors. And cool. So So I'll have this line of resin available through Half the Battle Toys for people that are doing 3D printing, where you can get my custom resins and my custom colors. So
nice. So not only upgrade kits, so also the means to make yourself, essentially. That is cool. That's also helping the community in a big way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't share my files, so all you guys that are on the Transformers 3D printing world will understand that. I'll share prints and I'll share images, but the files I just, it's proprietary to HTB, and that's just how it is. Yeah. But I know everybody likes to print, so if I can help in some way or another, and that's how I can help.
That is absolutely true. That's right, and I believe that is also needed, because, like I said, with the big Optimus Prime, where the tolerances were a little bit wonky, like something that is a little flexible, you are actually able to print it a little bigger, so the ball joints are a little bit more snappy in there, but they don't actually grind down. They just hold the pose a little better due to the flexibility. Just has a little bit of give. That would probably,
they still grind down a little bit. There's easy fixes for that, for big stuff. And Syfritt Tech just came out with a new material that I'm testing out right now. I don't really like it at this point, but I haven't really had a lot of time to dial it in and really test it out.
Okay.
But it's specifically for ball joints, ball and socket joints. It's got some kind of epoxy or Teflon or something mixed into the resin that allows it to print smooth, so it doesn't have wear.
Nice.
So, but it's still, like, I did a couple of tests. I work with a company, if anybody's familiar with Modibot.
No, I'm actually not. I don't know if anybody in the chat.
So Modibot makes these little guys, and they're ball and socket snap fit joints. This company, Modibot, they started making these for educational purposes. I had a stop motion class, and they used this for testing stop motion. So I've done some stop motion stuff I can share on YouTube. But I'm working with this company because these parts are done through a different process and shape ways, and it's a nylon, but it's got that grainy feel texture to it, and they're just not going to ever get any better than that. So I've been using these to test market ball and sockets, and I'm using that Tenacious right now to test these, and so far I'm not very happy with it. I like my stuff better.
Oh, okay. So, but that's also probably a give and get with that company, saying, okay, I know what you've been trying to do with the nylon, to have it like a little bit more, a little bit of a better surface quality. But right now, it would needs to be, and then you would come in where you say, to let it be a little bit more, I don't know, have it a little bit more flexible, or even a little bit more durable, sturdy. Probably, right? It's probably just
right now they need to make it not white.
Not white.
Yeah, so the only availability that they have right now is it's an opaque white, and there's so much pigment in that it just, I think it's hindering some of the issues, some of the problems that I'm having. Like, you lose flexibility when you add too much pigment, things like that. It's a science. It's definitely a science to get this thing down pat. Because there was a question on these little minifigures, like, why do they look transparent? And we tried to answer that as best we could. And the reason being is, if you put too much pigment in it, you change the chemical structure of the material, and therefore it becomes brittle, and it doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
So if they can give me, if Syfritt Tech can give me that material in an amber clear, then I have a better ability to test their product. But right now, they're a big company, and they don't work well with others.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've tried to reach out to them, and like, I got a very one line response: go to our website, buy it from there.
Oh,
yeah,
super.
So,
and that for people that like to communicate in a nice and just transparent way, like we are, that's just how am I supposed to work with this?
Yeah, I can't. So that's why it's like I use their stuff the way I need to use their stuff, but I buy it on Amazon like everybody else. I don't get any special deals on it. It is what it is. And that new material that they're using, it's called Mecha, and it's $80 for 1 liter of this material.
That's so expensive, I take it?
It's just stupid expensive, yeah. The average stuff, like you can pretty much buy standard resins, roughly $30 to $40 a liter on Amazon. I don't know what that accounts to euros, but
30 to 40 a liter would be somewhat like we're not that far off actually. It would be something like, I don't know, if you talk 30, 40, something like $25, $35 maybe.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, so it is expensive to get this material, and so far I haven't seen the value in it.
That's bad. But I mean that's something like, how is it the journey is the goal, or how do I like to call it? You always like to test things, and if it's bad, well, then you at least have the experience, right? I mean, you messed with it, you maybe wasted a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, okay, this is not for me. Except if you wouldn't have tested it and you would have printed it out, and then you try and you fill it, and all of a sudden you have, like a little puzzle, because it just breaks apart. That's something that's always helps, especially for your development, because I mean, you're probably trying to get half the battle toys as, I don't know how to actually call it, like compatible with other things, and also be able to get tested against other companies that are trying to do it, like DNA maybe being on the same level, probably, right?
So where I'm at with Half the Battle Toys is I know that 3D printing is the future of manufacturing. I know that it's getting there. It's still probably a couple of years away from actually getting to the point of actual manufacturing. And like, we are so close. We're right on the cusp of being able to use 3D printing for like actual moving parts and everything else. But still, at this point, nothing beats injection molding. It is what it is. Injection molding is its own thing, and but it's getting there. It's super close, and I think that like probably by the end of this year, we will have everything dialed into the point that we can now do full manufacturing through 3D printing.
Cool. You also got plans in place for figures that are pretty much only viable to that sort of producing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my Hound figure right now, I'm trying to set it up so that it can all be done through 3D printing.
Cool.
So we'll have, I can, like right now, these I've done manufacturing with these little micro figures. This Bumblebee, I can print about 30 at a time right now on one printer, and I have 7. So
nice.
So that gives you an idea.
But how long does one of these Bumblebees take?
Less than an hour.
Oh, cool. That's fast.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about other pieces, if you have like big pieces, like probably your Unicron upgrade parts, maybe these are way bigger pieces. These are probably gonna take, I don't know, if it's a size like that, to have the arms cover what you did also, and it's gonna be this size. That's gonna be roughly like 3 to 4 times the time, right? In terms of
not necessarily. Resin printing works quite a bit differently when it comes to that process, because when you're dealing with filament-based printers, you've got a spool of material and you've got a part that's writing that layer. It's drawing that layer out and then filling that layer in. With resin printing, it's shooting that whole entire layer in one shot per second, and then peeling that off, and then another shot, peeling that off. So the time frame is drastically different from resin printing to FDM.
But is the one, would you say the one is superior over the other? In some, I don't know, some.
No, they both have their purposes. You
Okay.
know, I mean, I just printed this, so this is the resin print.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it took me 3 hours to print 2 fingers of this part, and these are all separate pieces that, you know.
We talked about this offline for people that watch this afterward. This is for a cosplay piece of the Arcane League of Legends show from Netflix that he's currently printing. So
yeah. So if you go to Etsy, I will post this link.
Nice.
In the chat. So this is what I'm using, and I'm sorry for the curse words. It's fucking huge. The thing is giant.
It's an adult collector channel. It's all good.
Yeah. So to give you an idea, this is one of the fingers to the fist.
That's crazy.
So, but okay, so I'm printing this all in parts. I have sitting next to me another printer.
Oh, hell.
This is a belt printer. And so the way this thing works is it has an infinite Z. So it's an FDM print. It prints at a 45-degree angle. So you can see that there's the nozzle right there. So it's printing at an angle, and then the belt moves out this way and just continues to print. I would have had that going for this thing, but I didn't want the sound to interfere with what we're doing. But this is one of the prints that just came out of it.
That looks smooth.
It's not bad, and it's all one piece. This is how I printed in one piece.
That looks superb. I'm gonna put you up on big so people can see it. That's really like super shiny and really smooth.
Yeah, I used a silk PLA for this. It's a silk silver PLA. It didn't come out too bad. It's got some stuff that still needs to be sanded down and smoothed out. You know, I mean, you can still see some of the lines.
Yeah, but overall, I've seen way rougher pieces.
Yeah, it's not bad. So, but the point of this is, this to print this thing took me, I want to say 10 hours to print this half. So I've got 2 halves of this to make the gun.
Cool. Yeah, we got a few guys
this whole thing
in the chat now. We got TM reviews. We got Legends of Cybertron.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Okay.
What's up, guys? Yeah, the finger. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Hey, TM Reviews. Sonny, how you doing? So anyway, this took 3 hours to print in resin.
Oh, okay.
So there's the difference.
Yeah. But nice. I mean, you got how many projects do you currently have like in parallel? May it be for yourself or for half the battle?
I don't have enough fingers.
But I mean, it certainly helps. You have 7 printers. I mean, you have all of them. Do you have currently all of them running on one project or even on several?
Right now, I'm going to have, you know, they're not running right now, but I've got to get this thing done by Wednesday for WonderCon that's coming up next weekend. So I'm delegating all my printers for that right now, and then I'll go back to the rest of the stuff when I come back from the convention. But yeah, usually when I'm working on a project, a good example is the fillers for the Ark.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm cracking down to try to get as many of these done as I can, I will run all of my printers just for those parts.
Yeah.
And then I'll do that for 2 or 3 days. I'll get like 20 kits together, and then I still have to put everything together. I have to paint them, you know, before I get them sent out. I got 7 or 8 of them on my table right now, getting ready to be shipped out, and I'll probably get those out Monday or Tuesday. Cool. Unicron is FDM, and that's the reason that I bought this belt printer, so that as soon as I finish this little project, this was a test project for another buddy of mine, to help me dial in the settings for this printer. But this is a production printer. It's made so that I can just put a spool in there and I can put my parts in and it will just print them and spit them out the other end and into a box, and I just let it go and do its thing.
Cool. So pretty final. So no sanding involved afterwards, pretty much?
These are for the internal parts to Unicron, so I don't really care about that. They just need to be structurally sound and be able to work.
Yeah.
So I just need to print a lot of them at a time. And right now, I can only print a few at a time on, say, my Prusa, right?
Yeah.
Prusa's well known. And I have one of those. I have several other FDM printers that are all in some array of being repaired. That's how printing world works.
But how expensive are we talking for let's say the production printer for the Unicron parts that you say? How expensive is such a 3D printer? I have no idea in my mind what that costs. I mean, you just gave us a price on the resin, the custom one where you had no real contact to the guys for 80, and the other stuff being 40. But for an actual printer, like I heard, I had prices in Germany running around for 2,000, 2,500 to 3, but it's now getting way less expensive, pretty much. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what you want to do with a printer. I mean, this Bell printer was 1,000, and it's pretty robust. But I still have to tinker with it and fine tune it. The Prusas were 1,000, 700 unassembled, and you have to still put it together. You have to build it from scratch, pretty much, and then you have to tinker with it and get it fine tuned. So to get a printer that just prints with no problems right off the bat, you just stick material in it and go. You're looking at $3,000 to $4,000 for one of those. If you need a desktop printer, something that you're willing to take the time to tinker with and keep fixing and fixing and fixing and fixing, you can get them for under 1,000. So it just depends on what you want out of the 3D printing experience. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I've moved to resin, because there's just so many moving parts in an FDM printer that so many things can go wrong and break. And with resin printing, it's messy. Okay. But it's less that I have to spend time fixing those machines. Like I know that they're good to go pretty much most of the time. Every once in a while, I might have to level the bed, but that's pretty much it.
Okay, so it gets out of alignment and is on an angle or something like that, maybe, or what are we talking here?
Yeah, screws get loose, things like that. Stuff gets out of alignment. So, but it takes all of 30 seconds, and changing out the FEP sheet, which is the base that the material sticks to temporarily, while it's being printed per layer.
Gotcha.
So
I mean, yeah,
I'm giving a lot of information for novice printer guys out there.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, like I said, that's super interesting, and it's also, I would probably, from what I hear now, as a novice mind, also a totally amateur, what you said, that's like the one thing, peace of mind. If you want to have that stuff, and you got your ideas, and you want to see it, maybe not really fast if it's something big, but you want to see it safe and not having to worry about anything going wrong, then maybe invest a little, so to speak, more, and just have it done ready. You just set it up, maybe some I don't know, some marginal assembly, for the panels on the side and whatnot, and the railing maybe, but then you can actually just start and be happy with the outcome, so to speak, pretty much.
Yeah, and none of those are even great for that. Like there is no such thing as a perfect desktop 3D printer. If you want something that is a serviced piece that is perfect all the time, you're looking at 15 upwards to 200,000 for a printer like
that. That's a lot of dough.
Yeah.
Holy hell. Okay, but hey, That's something where I don't have anything pretty much left. That was also in-depth stuff, dude. That was amazing. How about some lighthearted stuff? How about that?
Sure.
You got a lot of Transformers. You said around 700. Is that right? Or several hundred?
No, I have probably about 200 Transformers.
Okay.
I have about 1,000 or so action figures in general, but I also collect other stuff. You know, I collect Hot Toys and
excellent. That was exactly my question. Excellent.
Cool. Yeah, stuff like that as well. I do like a lot of robots, so you know, Voltron and Voltron. Yeah.
I got the Soul of Shogoken Voltron, the original, and the Die Rugger. I got that too. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So I have the it was like an off-brand company that did the vehicle Voltron before Soul of Shogoken came back around.
That's
I don't
right.
remember the name of it. It was short-lived, and it was kind of like third party, but licensed. I don't know. It was weird, and it was short-lived.
I know what you mean. Wasn't that like not? Didn't they also do a lion version? Like, was that? They had some specific.
Think so. It might have been. It might have been. I don't remember the name. I'd have to go in and look at the box.
Yeah, me too. I don't have it. Cantina ask you where you put all these figures. Oh,
that's my living room.
Oh, so cool. Nice.
So, and then I have just as many cases there. I have in that room and behind me, and then I have these cases here. That's so, and then I also have another bedroom that I still have to set up. I have all the walls are filled with like He-Man figures.
Cool.
I also love dragons, so any dragon figure that's ever made, I try to grab those.
That's the metalhead portion of your brain, right? You know, metalhead, dragons.
Yeah. You know, I had that long hair back when I was a kid. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also starting to get old. You know, the sides are pretty much all gray if I'm not shaving them down and stuff. But I got my side cut at least. So dude, it took me pretty much now since I'm 40 that I got a full beard. So that's where I was always.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. It was gapey. It was gapey in a lot of places. So I don't know, nothing to be envious about. The hair was always full, and now I get these retracting hairlines all over here, and now this is all full.
Yeah, mine is detracted to about here.
Oh damn.
Yeah, I've been shaving my head for like close to 20 years now.
Okay. TM Reviews just said, were you referring to Miracle Metalworks Voltron before Bandai met SoC? Is that maybe it?
That does sound familiar.
So that could probably be it. But not to go away on that topic. I always think like people that are actually having that are shaving their head or are bald are in a very interesting position. Like most of the people that actually are then bald also have the head to do it. I tried going bald. I don't have the head for it. I just look like a peeled egg. I really do.
Yeah, you got to have the head for it.
It is
for sure. But absolutely. I mean, I used to have mohawks, you know, back in the younger days. So
that I never tried. I mean, with that hairstyle, I could actually try it, but it's not on my priority list actually. But okay, so you essentially, but what you're saying, back to collectibles a little bit, is pretty much that you essentially are just an 80s kid. You have Voltron, you have Transformers, also on Star Wars, Master of the Universe is that, but Star Wars also, Star Trek.
I honestly love Star Wars. I like Star Trek too. I have a couple of Star Trek figures only because they're signed. So I have a Leonard Nimoy autographed Spock figure.
Nice.
From back in the day, and then I have a Chekhov figure signed. But Star Wars just it's a rabbit hole I just can't get into.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know,
especially with the Black Series figures are just so dang good looking, and I can't justify that. I don't have the room for it. I'm actually so I know most of you guys are probably in Germany, but I will be at WonderCon, and I have a panel on Saturday called "Do You Have What It Takes to Be a Hardcore Collector?"
Okay.
And I'm bringing in toy collectors from the LA area that are all like hardcore collectors, like at least 200 to 300, if not more, of a particular figure or collection.
Okay.
So I've got one guy that has well over 200 Mezco figures. I have another guy that has like probably close to 2,000 horror-related action figures.
What the hell?
And then I have another guy that is an avid Lego collector. So he has about 50 or 60 full, like the big Lego kits that are, you know, a few $100s a pop type of thing, like, you know, the Star Wars, mostly Star Wars. So I'm bringing him out for that. And so we're basically going to do what we're doing here in the panel and just talk about our collections and how we can afford them.
Yeah, especially in these times now, you know. I mean, stuff is just getting so expensive right now.
Yeah,
and also weird and not available, like the NECA Demona from Gargoyles that is now hitting up stores in a super limited capacity, but no pre-order. And
the NECA stuff.
Yeah,
I have Goliath.
Yeah, I got that too.
I haven't bought Dialogue yet because honestly, I don't even remember him in the cartoon.
Oh, really?
I guess I do. No, I do remember him now. He was like the main, like, bad guy, but he was created, right?
Yeah, he was a clone.
He was a clone. Yeah, a clone. So I see those everywhere at Targets around my area of town, and I just haven't bit the bullet to pick that one up yet. And it kind of pisses me off because, like, I was really hoping to see the rest of the line, and all they're doing is selling a repaint, and I hate repaints.
Yeah, through the NECA Holothon, they actually brought out Bronx and Demona in super limited capacities.
Oh, really?
In Targets. So you see that on Facebook. Actually, they brought that out, but super limited. You see a post here, a post there, maybe, but there's currently no pre-order anywhere. At least that my buddy Dennis, Sentinel Bear Reviews, you just saw. He actually wrote NECA, and they said Demona and also Bronx are gonna hit pre-orders later. So at least limited, and they can actually be released later. I was also okay. So what is that, like a Target exclusive? Because we don't have Target over here. We would miss out, and we are missing out already because the Gargoyles are not released over here, not at all. Also, no distribution or anything. So let's hope this all comes down to that. But some special question.
$60 is a lot for a Goliath.
Yeah,
you know, they're 30 at the store here.
Yeah,
like, I mean, I could pick them all up for you guys, except that then you got to pay shipping, and they're big figure. So I mean, it's going to be $65 just to ship them to you guys.
And then we are also hit by customs.
Yeah, on top of that, yeah, because we talked about that with the with Kiki.
Yeah, exactly. That was that was not meant to be, apparently. But do you have an absolute grail? Like, is it existent now and you're waiting to pull the trigger, or is it something you know from your youth you would love if it would just hit the pre-order and you would essentially just directly hit order now? Like, to me, it would be a new Ramrod from Saber Rider. If that would be done by Bandai Social Goken, that would be directly pre-order. I would not even think about it. Do you have something like that, existent or non-existent?
Yeah, I do. Existent. I mean, my grail changes.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of things that I would still love to see come into toy form or re-released into toy form. but I have a Mondo Iron Giant.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a
Grail.
great figure. Yeah. He was re-released, I believe, last year.
Was he?
I believe.
Yeah, great. That kills the market.
Yeah, it sure does. Pretty much the same as, I don't know, it was 15 years ago or stuff like that, when in Germany there was some kind of an anniversary box released by Iron Maiden, and it was limited to 1,000 pieces. People bought it like crazy. Aftermarket prices on eBay skyrocketed, and then they re-released it a few months later as a limited piece for 3,000 pieces.
And it was a statue, an Iron Maiden statue?
No, it was some kind of a tin box. It was some kind of a tin box with their discography until this very point, with some bonus stuff like plaques and whatnot. So they put that in with embossed tin foil. It was a great piece, but it was not for me because I'm not that big on Iron Maiden. But first, 1,000 pieces limited, then that got sold out, and then they re-released it as 3,000 pieces. Community went pretty much batshit over that. So they were not.
I've actually been trying to work with Derek Riggs, who's the artist for the original Eddie the Head Iron Maiden. Like, that's what you see in the background there.
Yeah.
And I've done a couple of statues, 3D printed statues for him.
Cool.
To do at limited productions. And we were kind of in the process of doing it, but it's tough because I don't think they really understand. If we made a couple of those statues, like I could probably make 10 of them, and I would have to paint them. And if I hand painted them, they would go for high dollar, and it would be great. But it's still in the works. We're still trying to figure out something. Like, I work with them all the time. They're great people, but you know, trying to figure out something that he can make money on for his art design and not have to give any of it to Iron Maiden.
Yeah, makes sense.
You know,
so it's third party Iron Maiden stuff, so to speak.
I suppose it would be, yeah. Just, it's not third party because Derek owns the licensing to all of the original art creations.
Okay.
He just doesn't have the licensing to the name Iron Maiden. But Eddie, which is basically Iron Maiden, can be made in any format through the term Eddie or Derek Riggs art.
Okay, that brings a knot to the brain. Like, okay, if Iron Maiden wanted to do Eddie without his approval, it would be official, yet still third-party Iron Maiden, and the same goes for him. If he wants to do something with Eddie but doesn't get the permission from Iron Maiden, it's official because it's his design, but he doesn't have the name Iron Maiden.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a head turner. It gets very complicated when it comes to branding and licensing. Like, this is why my company is HTV Toys, not Half the Battle. Because I don't even know at this point if Hasbro has a licensing name or have trademarked that slogan.
Yeah.
Because if that slogan's been trademarked, then I can't really use that for a business name. So it's HTV Toys.
I know what you mean because the saying is because knowing is half the battle. But I believe for a copyright it would need to be specifically that. But until you don't actually know, I believe that's a safe way. I think that's a good call. Because I mean, third party is a slippery slope, how they like to call it. I mean, especially also you have the 01 Studio Cell. Like, what went on in the community with that? You know, first it was Zeta Toys Core Star, then came the crowdfund, then it got shut down, and then they ripped it apart, and you need to have the 01 Studio Cell and the Armor Toys head and wings to be able to complete it. I mean, it's cool that you can still get it, but the hindsight of this is, at least to me always, you never know what would have been the actual box art, maybe some accessories they wanted to get with this, maybe a collectible card. We will never know this. This is a sad part of it. But I mean, otherwise, at least third party is a lively community, and we can have so many cool figures like this Drift. Although the Generations is supposedly very good, but I mean, you're
doing. It was okay. I had it.
Yeah. I mean, you are doing your part for a third party for sure with your upgrade kits. I mean, the Ark is good for what it is as the Ark, but overall, if you think for the price that you still need some kind of upgrade set is sad, to say the least.
Well, I have to commend Hasbro for half-assing all of their work, because I would not have a job if it wasn't for their half-assery.
Dude, you are running in open doors. Like, I say that all the time. I that's something that I always say, you know, like, I love Transformers, but Hasbro, what they are sometimes doing, they can fuck right off, to say the least. It's ridiculous, you know, the way they have as it. Like, I have as a loan certain figures of the Bumblebee movie, and this guy here, that Brawn, that is a great figure.
I've been trying to find that, and I still haven't found them yet.
Because locally. It's not released over on your side. You usually got it all. We have it 2 weeks already. I have.
That's why I haven't seen all the posts. I've seen posts for it, and I see people reviewing them and stuff, and I'm like, I haven't even seen these yet. Why? How are people getting these?
Yeah, Jason Lowry has it on pre-order on BBTS, and it says April.
Like, I just found Bulkhead the other day.
Yeah, we got Bulkhead also already. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're a little bit behind the times with those.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because we usually get New Age stuff before you guys.
And yeah, that, and the thing is, we never got Studio Series 86 Scourge, and the sweeps were also completely canceled on us. Like,
really?
Yeah, we never got those. We were able to get it from another store in Italy. We were happy with that, but we had to import sweep, actually. So we have a lot of cost on top of that for us to be actually able to.
There is at least 5 or 6 of them at every Target within a 10-mile radius of my house right now.
It's ridiculous. We had no idea what happened there. I mean, anyway, do you have a specific talent? Do you have something like, I don't know, something that you know you can do, nobody else does? You probably also can't make any money off it, but you know no one that actually is able to do that. Like, whatever, any kind of talent, anything, maybe a keen mind with your 3D printing.
I mean, I try to make money off of it, all of my talents. You know, that's kind of always how I've been. You know, I'm an entrepreneur, so like, if I develop something and it works, then I turn it into a business. That's just always what I've done. Like, I used to do custom vehicle graphics for Mini Coopers, and I designed a couple of roof graphics, and then I'm like, hey, this is cool. I can do this for other people. And then, you know, several years later, I was like the 2nd largest provider in the world for graphics for Mini Coopers. It was very niche, but you know, there was a lot of Mini Coopers out there.
Cool.
So then when the economy took a dump, I'm like, okay, I have now learned how to make props and costumes. So let's do that for a while. That is something. Props and costumes are a whole different ball game, because there's so many cosplayers out there, and there's so many creative individuals out there that trying to make money off of that just never really panned out.
Okay.
So I moved on. So now I make toys, and I'm like, all right, toys are something that I can make that not a lot of people can, and I can turn that into a business, and that's where we're at today.
Are you actually on that topic? Are you actually living off that stuff?
Yeah, for now.
Ooh.
I'm also going to school full time, so you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's still fairly new. You know, Half the Battles is just getting started. I have a lot of stuff to figure out for the next 5 years of what's going to happen with the company. But you know, I mean, I'm kind of at the point where I would like to see HTB be at least on par with some of the other current third-party companies.
That's but that's a goal.
Yeah.
That's a goal right there. I mean, that's something worth working towards too. Like, this is something that I also kind of find myself with. Like, I'm now going back into my original job. Like, I'm a technical draftsman in mechanical engineering. So now I'm starting that again on June 1st. So doing that, and then also our shop on the side. It's going to be interesting how that is all going to work with each other, and then also with the YouTube stuff. So also busy, but having a goal in mind like this, and then also trying to ramp it up with more 3D printers like you have, with mixing your own resin and your own filament and stuff like that, is, I believe in these weird times with the bad C virus and all that stuff. I believe it's busy to have important to have a busy mind, to stay busy, and to have a goal. Yeah. I believe.
Yeah, but, I mean, you know, when the pandemic hit, I was driving for Uber and Lyft.
Okay.
And, you know, I stopped doing that as soon as the pandemic hit, because, you know, I don't want to get COVID.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I live on campus for my school. I am a student full time, and, you know, my wife works full time, and so she pays most of the bills. So I'm like, I need to just do something that can pay the other half of the bills, and something that I can look forward towards when I graduate. And so that's kind of what came about. I was like, all right, well, I have a couple 3D printers, so let's take advantage of that. And, you know, then I got a resin printer, and I'm like, okay, this is really cool, and I can do much better stuff with this. So let's focus on that. And then, you know, about the beginning of the pandemic, so it was summer, and I wasn't in class. So I'm like, okay, this is going to happen. I'm going to design, and I'm going to focus on perfecting resins to be able to make action figures out of them. So I created a couple of figures that were based around the Mega Constructs in design, and then just spent the entire summer perfecting those to the point that now I can sell them on eBay and you make a little bit of money off of them.
Cool.
So, but Kiki is what actually kept me going through most of that.
Really?
Kiki? Yeah. It was a rare opportunity. You know, because of the pandemic, the guy that owns the company was not able to ship his product out individually to people because he's in the Philippines. No, he was in Thailand. He's in Thailand, and they shut off all outside shipping. Like, it was just closed off to the world. The only way that he could ship stuff is in large bulk through DHL.
That's what you told me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll buy 100 of them, ship them to the U.S., and I'll open it up for the U.S. market. So that's what happened. And as many people that griped about it, there were 3 times more people that loved the product.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I think I have something here. And, you know, I just kept it up on eBay, and, you know, went through, I think I sold probably close to 3,000 or 4,000 of those during the pandemic.
Nice.
And then the pandemic's over, and he's like, oh, I don't need you anymore. See ya.
So much for loyalty if you're trying something entrepreneurial, right?
Yeah, yeah. But you know, I mean, everything happens for a reason. You know, that came into my life because I was working on starting this new business, and I just needed some supplemental income so that I can focus on that and not work Uber, because that takes up a lot of my time. You know, if I'm driving, I can't do design. You know, I tried. You know, I bought an iPad. You know, I started setting everything up so I could do everything on my iPad. And for the times that I'm sitting, but when I'm working, I'm driving. Like, there's very little downtime when you're driving for Uber.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't get any other work done, and it was taking up, 7 to 8 hours of my day.
Yeah.
That I could be at home printing and designing.
Yeah, that's also what's gonna hit me, you know, because my job is in the office. It's 7 to 8 hours a day. If I got a 35 hours a week, I don't know if it's overtime or stuff like that. There's a lot of time that goes away, even more if you're a cab or Lyft or Uber driver. It's a lot. It is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I mean, even school has been cumbersome to my work because, you know, I'm in school full time. Like this year, I was like, okay, I got these easy classes, no problem, right? But now we're back on campus. You know, we're not through Zoom. Last semester, it was super chill because everything was Zoom related. You know, you just pop on. I could actually like work on stuff while I'm listening to the teacher lecture and then, you know, interact if I need to because I can multitask that way. And now I have to take the shuttle. That takes an hour. Then I've got 4 hours in class, and then I've got another hour back home. So there's 6 hours of my day that I've lost 2 days a week for school. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like I felt that too. When that actually hit me in 2020, also like one day to the next, I believe it was mid to end March when we went into lockdown, that was also, you were just home. You're just home. Usually you get up at 5, you start your day with a shower and you're doing your breakfast and you pack that up, you grab your bike, that's all done. The first thing you do, you put on your pair of joggers and your hoodie and you just slurp your way through the apartment, you know, to the coffee machine. And then you greet your cat. She's hungry. And then you sit in front of the PC and that's work. That was horrible. That was a super hard time to get productivity up.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I'm very self-motivated, and I actually want to address this question that Candina of Transformers said. You know that he wants to get into making dioramas. Yeah. And to be honest with you, just do it, man. Just like nothing can stop you from doing your own thing. If you have an idea, start it out as a hobby, make a couple of them and, you know, put them up for sale. And if people like them, then great. You have something to work towards, and just keep doing that. You know, I have quite a few friends that actually make dioramas, and, you know, they just, when they can afford it, they go down to Home Depot and they pick them up some pink insulation foam and they carve it away and they make something from it, and they're like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then they show some pictures of it, and, you know, if people start asking, hey, where do I get that? You know, you have a market.
That's right. You can only try. You know, that's also what happened to my Combiner Wars Devastator. Like I customed the ever living hell out of it for a year, and people hit me up afterwards with offers. Those were ludicrous offers because it probably now worth double of what it originally cost, and they wanted to have the original price for it. But still, I got stuff offered for it. I got the post up on TFW, and they liked it. So just try it. Go ahead. If you like it, like me, I never work with styrene. Like these knee parts were the first things I ever done with styrene, and it is just such a forgivable material, and it's so much fun to just carve away, and essentially you can plastic melt it with super glue.
Yeah.
If you are crafty and you don't have two left,
and it's cheap too.
Yeah, it's super cheap and it's super fun. Like I'm gonna do a 1-24 truck build. I'm gonna do my own ram for the front. There's so much easy stuff you can do, like heat it up, bend it a little bit into shape, and also with his dioramas. He's actually doing that with these kind of 3D printing pen. You know these ones?
Yeah.
They work with filament.
Yeah, it's basically, it extrudes the plastic in the same way that a FDM printer does, but just in your hand.
Exactly. And you want to hear a fun part? He's doing that stuff, and he's also fiddling with Transformers, and he is 95% blind.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. He is a super cool dude. He watches us every week on everything we do. Like he was on with us in the Hangout, and he's someone deeply from the heart. He loves that shit, and exactly like you say. But if you want to try it, if people want to support you, they absolutely will. But Mike, I'm keeping a lot of time from your hands. I would say final question, and then I will leave you to your day because you are a busy man. How about that?
Okay.
I believe
I set aside 2 hours for you, so.
Oh, okay, yeah, but it was supposed to be a little bit earlier for you. We're missing half an hour, so
it's more for your, because like you're approaching what, 10 o'clock now, 10:30.
It's 10:30 almost. But to me, it's okay. I got my free time. I'm not as busy as you, so I'm trying to give you some little bit of the time back. But I believe half the battle toys probably also has its fair share of maybe some kind of toxicity in its comment sections. Sometimes, probably, maybe in some form, right?
Toxicity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we do our part. Like, you know, we definitely got a flack on the pricing for these little minifigures. And like, I mean, I'm sticking to the pricing because I feel that they don't really understand what goes into the design, the marketing, the R&D for all of the resins that I've had to do, the investment on the 3D printers, like all of this that has taken place to make this tiny figure. And, you know, yeah, I mean, $20 is a lot of money for this tiny piece of plastic.
Yeah, but the amount of work that went in, and you have to see that.
Yeah, the amount of work that goes into it. And I mean, I'm just, like I said, I really am just one guy. I have a couple of designers under my belt that are helping me, but like all of this is done in-house here until I can actually, you know, make enough to be able to bring on a couple of employees to help do that. Because like right now, my machines aren't running because I'm not out there running the machines. If I had somebody to do that, that would be grateful. But at this time, you know, it's just not feasible until we can get things rolling. And when I come out with so once I do the final test printing for the Vamp Hound figure, I have to decide at that point, am I going to manufacturing or am I going to continue with 3D printing? And if I'm going to go 3D printing realm, it has to be up to snuff. It has to be production quality work for me to be able to sell that figure and, you know, market it as a third-party product from HTB Toys.
Right.
So I have to do whatever it takes to do that. And at this point, it's just slow going because just like all of my other businesses, I don't go and take out $100,000 loans to do stuff. I bring it up a little bit at a time, you know. All the money that I got from TFCon, from selling what figures that I brought there, basically all went to my designer and resins for the next one. You know, and I'm just going to keep doing that until I get to the point that everything is perfected and I'm making some profit on it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's slower going than most other companies that get started. You know, they invest $100,000 into their molds and stuff, or, you know, working with a factory and things like that. And
but that's a good bit of preparation for the question, because if you could have, or if you could tell the people in the comment sections or in the wider Transformers community / fandom that are bitching over prices, over the make and feel of certain bits and pieces, toxicity in general, what would it be that you would tell people? Like, also think about it as if these people would need to abide by that, what you tell them, what would be the message that you would give them?
Well, first of all, it's very difficult to bring across something fresh and new like this on a computer screen. It just can't. Like, we've taken high resolution images. I put these things next to quarters. You can see it and you can be like, oh, that's really cool. But, you know, there's also, you know, you just can't trust things on the internet anymore. Like, I could have Photoshopped those pieces together. Who knows?
That's right.
You really can't get the point across unless you see it in person. And when I was at TFCon, like, I had these out. You could, and TM Reviews can attest to this, because, you know, you're like, oh, these are really cool. They're so tiny. They're really awesome. But, you know, it's not really worth the effort. Then you go and see it in person, and you play with it and you move the parts around. And you're like, This thing is a fully posable action figure that's less than the thickness of my finger.
Yeah.
And at that point, people are like, I don't care if this is $40, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Because it's in their hand and they're like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But you can't, it's very difficult to get that information across on the web.
Yeah.
So like, you know, even though I've had reviews about this and, you know, we've posted all these pictures up on TFW, it just doesn't comprehend to your, from screen to brain, what it really is until you see it in person. That's all I can say about it, you know. And then the other part about this is things are more expensive. I mean, you know, these little deluxe Transformer figures used to be $8. Back when I first started collecting in early 2000s, they were $8-9.
Yeah. And
we thought that was extravagant.
This thing now costs 27 over here.
Yeah, they from Hasbro Pulse, they're 22 now. So they just raised them another $2. And you know, yes, there's a lot of money that goes into the manufacturing element of that for plates and different things like that, but they're mass producing these things in hundreds of thousands. So their costs on these per unit are less than $3, give or take, in plastic and, you know, what takes to go through this. And now you take that and you put it to one person.
Yeah. With
a few machines. And, you know, I can't, it's tough that, yes, I'm in a weird position because I'm trying to be a third party company with larger manufacturing, but I'm also fitting to the customizer world as well. And so I'm kind of like in this weird, like mid position of what I can do. And all I can do is just, you know, I try to be as reasonable as I can with the pricing, based on the amount of hours that I put into everything. And I still have to pay designers, you know, for like the micro figures and for the Vamp figure, I have a designer that is on my team for that, and I have to pay him once I start selling those. So all of that gets trickled down, and I don't have, you know, I'm not Hasbro. I don't have 100,000 employees that you know work for peanuts.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah.
But if you know some guys that work for peanuts, I'm willing to take them on.
maybe knickknacks, so it's not as bland, right?
Yeah, knickknacks instead of peanuts. Yeah, because I don't want anybody to get allergic reactions.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So essentially, yeah, people should just be a little bit more appreciative and also a little bit more realistic in their.
Yeah, and it's tough. You know, I read all the reviews and I make, you know, I even based on some of those reviews about the full collection price, I even lowered that down. You know, I started it at $340, which I thought was a good price because you're getting 18 figures. You know, and if you calculate that at $20 a pop, X amount of dollars, I brought that down. And then a lot of people said, oh, I don't like the price. So, okay, so I lowered it down to 300 where I'm sticking, because that gives you basically the equivalent of 3 free figures plus free shipping for the entire thing. And yes, that's a lot of money to put up front for all of these little mini figures. And I'm going to be taking that down and just offering them individually, because I think it's a little bit easier on everybody's pocketbooks if they can buy 1 or 2 of their favorites and decide if they want to buy more versus trying to buy the whole entire allotment at one time.
Makes sense.
So
absolutely.
And with the crossover figures, those I'm going to try to keep those at least comparable to Fam's Toys as far as price goes.
Yeah, makes sense. Very, very cool. Dude, we had some questions that maybe we as a collector's bay could maybe feature your product. We can probably talk about that. That would be something cool.
Okay.
So
I mean, we have a little time. If there's a couple guys that want to ask some questions directly, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, okay. Let's see if there's any questions. We're only having actually 2 viewers left. I believe the one is Cantina, and he had his questions. I don't know if he has anything left, but he just did. That was the question: if these minifigures are available, do you think you can take them for the collector's bin? I said we will try, and he said nice. So essentially, that is currently it. Otherwise, we're currently very much alone. It's Sunday evening, so
yeah. I mean, I know it's late for you guys. It's early for us. I tried to post to get the U.S. market into checking out our thing, but feel free to post this up on Half Battle Toys page,
okay,
so they can go back through and watch it later.
They will absolutely do that. They will absolutely.
Yeah, and then I'll definitely get you out, because I know TM Reviews is not on here anymore, but I owe him some figures.
Cool.
He's going to be doing a review for them, and he tried to do one at TFCon, but because of the size of the figures, he didn't have the right equipment to be able to shoot that in the hotel room. So he wanted to do it in his studio. So I got to send him some new stuff out, and they'll have a little bit better perfection at that point. I've got a bunch of parts that still need to be taken apart and put together into kits, but you know, even like this guy, I noticed that the ball is kind of flat, didn't quite work out. So there's some issues that I have to go through and address before I can go into production and start shipping these things out. So I will definitely get out a few of the prototypes to you so you can review them as well. And
thank you very much. Very cool.
We'll figure out something too.
Very cool. Mike, I can only say thank you very much, dude. That was a lot of fun. We're on the way to 2 hours, dude. This is long, but it was so much in-depth stuff. Thank you very much. I hope I didn't rip too much from your time out of that Sunday, especially since we started late, which was a big fault on my part. But this is usually the plug and outro segment. So I'm gonna put the spotlight on you, and you can tell people where they find you and what to expect from HTB Toys in the near future.
All right. So you guys can find me on Facebook. I love saying this. It's facebook.com/because knowing is
right.
Half the battle.
Yeah.
So just because knowing is, that'll get you to my Facebook page. I have Instagram as well. That Instagram page is HTB Toys.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this in the chat. Just
so you actually don't need to, because I have all your accounts down in the description. If people want to check that out, all the links are in there.
All right, and then just what to look forward to in the future. I will be attending probably at least TFCon Chicago. I'm working out logistics to do TFCon Toronto, Canada. That's coming up in July. We'll see if we can get out there. I will have my minifigures available at that time for those, because I really think that that these minifigures are going to get their momentum from the conventions, especially when you get them. I don't know if you guys saw those. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay. Some little bit more to check out. That's cool.
This is how they come.
These are so cool. These little petri dish style thingies.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at actually buying the gumball machines that these go into, that take tokens. So that'll be kind of the nostalgia end of it. When you go to a convention, you buy these in this. You pay for it. I give you a token, and the token allows you to actually crank the little machine and get out one of these figures from the gumball machine.
Nice. Super cool.
So there's that. You can look forward to that. The Soundwave Hiss Tank, in the summer, I'll be back into design and development of that. Mm-hmm. And I will probably have a full working prototype for the Vamp by that time as well, and be closer to seeing what production is going to look like for that. There's a lot of little kits and stuff that I'd like to do for Hasbro stuff. I was in the process of working on doing the Junkions, the 5 different what do they call those? The Iron Maidens from the Junkion series. But it looks like Hasbro's already doing that, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Okay.
And, so I'm not jumping on that right now, but I bought a bunch of those Wreck-Gars so that I could take them apart and make some more parts for them. So we'll see.
But still, busy man. It's the least to say. Dude, thank you very much. I had a lot of fun. I always love these. It's bridging a little bit of gaps in the fandom, and now we had a little bit of gap bridging with Transformers and 3D printing. I'm super looking forward to check out these little guys, like these little things, like unplug them and then assemble them. I believe that's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you very much. I hope you have all the success in the world with this stuff, because such entrepreneurial stuff with Transformers and combining that with 3D printing and testing out the tolerances and what you can do, and also what you said, your head dive into mixing resin and that it all works, being durable, flexible, yet also sturdy. That's interesting. That's super interesting. That's only the least that I can say, because I don't have any mind for that. I never dived into any of that, but it seems to be running pretty well for you. So
yeah, I think that's the one thing that I have the leg up on everything else. Like, there's a lot of great designers out there, and you know, I actually do want to give a shout out to a couple of them.
Of course, go ahead.
Yeah. So William, what's his last name? Is it Longmore? Loachridge on Facebook. He kind of kickstarted this whole thing as he had developed a little cliff jumper that got my brain going, that I have to do this whole entire thing. It overwhelmed him a little bit, but he'll be back for the 86 line, so you guys can look forward to that. And then also Lockdown's trophy case. Mike is the one that's been designing all of these current little minifigures, and you know, he's a great designer. He has his own Etsy shop for the little stuff that he likes to do. He's strictly a Legends guy, but you know, if you guys are looking for something to get done, I would say hit these guys up, because you know, they're all willing to do custom type work. That's where I find most of these guys. The other person, my mind's just started drawing blanks on me right now for some reason. Is it Jeremy? Who did I post earlier? Yeah, Jeremy. So he's in the Philippines, and he focuses on Legends as well. And he's on the Transformers 3D printing Facebook group. So any of you guys want to go on there, it's a great group to find. Sometimes you can find STL files if you're printing stuff on your own. But a lot of times you can at least find designers to help you envision your dream of something that you want to see made. So I always like to give shout outs to all those guys, and you know, they're on my team. They're subcontractors, and they will get compensated for everything that they do for me as things go forward. I can never say enough great things about all those guys. Fabian, I wouldn't been able to do any of this, you know, without his initial art designs for some of those. And the colors, those are great too. Livio, shout out to him, because he did the color for the Hiss Wave that's on the back, that was posted in the reviews for the third party panel. That's and right. Also Russ Cassidy, I think is his last name. He's the colorist for some of the other stuff. He's the one that did my Hound one that was on my banner. And yeah, so I like to give a shout out to all those guys.
Very cool. Yeah, and shout out to you for being here, actually. But we got actually one final question left. Cantina just came around with something. Mike, I got an idea for an upgrade kit. Could you maybe do an upgrade kit for the legs of the Siege Springer?
Yeah, hit me up. I think you just said that you pinged me on Instagram. So right. I have that figure, and yeah, his legs are a little shoddy, so it's definitely something that could be addressed. But you know, depending on time, you know, we can figure something out.
See, very cool, nice. Guys, that was Crate Hangouts for today. We had on here HTB toys, so we have it all correct. Mike Syfritt, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And if so, I hope you leave a like and you subscribe. And if you have any ideas or looking forward to it or get any questions, you find all of Mike's contacts down below. Mike, again, thank you very much for checking it out and popping in. It was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed, of course. It was pretty much all for you. So yeah, with this,
just remember, because knowing is half the battle.
That's right. Nothing more to say. Be good, be well, everybody. See you next time.